Welcome everybody to the June webinar, Tune Up Your Career, Avoid Office Burnout. My name is Sherry Branson and I'm your host today. Our goal in today's webinar is to provide several key tools to help you become more actively involved in the workplace and to avoid the dreaded office burnout. The main presenter today is Kevin Davis, the president of Kevin Davis Insurance. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning. How you doing, Sherry?
I'm doing great. And Kevin, we're doing once again, we have a live audience in the office today.
Yes, it's been a while. Say hello, everybody.
Good morning.
Well, they can't see you anymore, so you're now hidden.
Oh, I'm hidden. Oh, that's too bad.
You guys are hidden. Nobody can see you. I'm the only person they can see now. So.
Oh, okay. Well, it's great to see you have a nice crowd there today, Kevin, and we have a lot of people joining us from all over the country.
I'm looking forward to today. It's going to be a really exciting webinar because right now there's a lot of people feeling they're not part of things. They're not engaged enough in the workforce, and being engaged in the workforce is really, really important today. It's more important today than it ever was before.
Yes, absolutely. People are very busy and we don't want people to burn out, and the more engaged they feel, I think the better they feel overall. And if anybody would like a copy of today's presentation, please send me an email to sbranson@kdins.com and I'm happy to send you a copy of it. And take it away, Kevin.
Thanks a lot, Sherry.
You're welcome.
Okay, all right. This happens to be one of my favorite quotes because we have problems today. The problem, though, is that the way we look at the world, we want order and predictability. That's how we look at life. We don't like change. Nobody likes change. People like to hear they want change in the world, but we really don't. We want things stable. We want things consistent. If you look, how many times you've seen a TV show over and over again, right? Because you want that. You know what's going to happen at the end. How many times you went to the same movie more than once? You want that predictability. You want order in your life. The problem is that things have changed. It's hard to have that order. It's hard to sustain that order because what you have, okay, we talk about solving problems. The way we solve problems, the way we retain that order is look at our past experiences. Our past experience is what makes a difference to us. Every decision we make is based on our past experience, how we solve problems in the past. If you look at your jobs, look at your school, look at your family interaction, look at all those things, is based on your past experiences. But it's hard to do today because you have one thing here that says you can't use your past experiences, and that is your phone, your iPhone, your Android phone. It has changed the way we do things. You cannot do things the way we've done things in the past. Because of technology, it has changed all the rules. But we still look at our past experiences to say what things should happen, and you can no longer do that. We got to change. This is the issue right here. We believe we are great, okay? How many people put on Facebook how great and wonderful your day is, right? How many people, selfies? You use selfies, right? You like selfies. You don't like selfies, but most people like selfies, okay? When you were young, you joined a soccer team. You all got trophies, right? Because overall, you were great. You're wonderful. You're outstanding. How many of you are above average drivers? Exactly, you all are, okay, because we're great. How many people walk to the gym, walk inside of a gymnasium, walk inside of a gym, a health club, right, and they believe that everybody's looking at them, right? You do that, right? As soon as you walk in the gym, you believe everybody's looking at you, right? When you're having lunch and you spill some gravy on your shirt, right, or your blouse, you believe everybody sees you, right? Because you believe you're the center of attention. You believe the world is looking at you and you matter. The problem is that when you go to work, even though you feel great, but you don't feel great at work. You're not treated as great. You're not treated the way you should be treated. You're not motivated, okay? You feel like you're not valued, okay? You feel like you come to work, you're not appreciated. That's what's the problem right now. We live in a society where you have commercial that says how great and wonderful life is, but you come to work and you don't feel that. You feel detached. What we're going to talk about today is ways that you can really feel engaged and important. We talk about leadership itself. This is about leadership. Everybody in this room, everybody who's listening is a leader. You have to be. You have to lead your own life. You have to figure out what's going to happen in your life, how you're going to handle it, what are you going to do that's important to you. It is about change. It's about choice. You have a choice. You have to decide what's important to you. Do you want to make decisions based on the past, or do you want to make decisions based on reality, based on what things really are, based on the things that really impact you today? Too often, we make our decisions based on our past experiences. Leadership itself is about change. You have to change. You have to understand that change is critical. It's important to you. But we don't. And we don't because of fear. Fear stops us from making a change. Fear stops us from moving forward in life. Fear stops us from doing a lot of different things. You know, and the number one thing we're afraid of, what we're afraid of, is not so much as change or growing. We're afraid of humiliation. We're afraid of shame. We're afraid of those things. You know, we have to get over that. We have to understand that that stops us from moving forward in life more than anything else. Now, leaders versus managers. This is important. You are now leaders. You're no longer managers. This is what managers do. Managers, this is what management is all about. The problem is this. Managers look at the world in two ways. They look at you as somebody who's lazy. Look at somebody who not trustworthy. They look at somebody who's not really wanting to do the job. Or a manager can look at you as real people. You can look at it as somebody who has value. You can look at somebody who is motivated, can be a self-starter, can get things done. No matter what kind of manager you have, it's called a self-fulfilling prophecy, meaning this. If you believe your people are not trustworthy and get things done, then they can't. If you believe that the people are good and wonderful and are self-starters, then guess what? They get the job done. You see, the problem is that when we work every day, okay, we have people who operate under that fear, okay, who teach you that you're not valued, you're not important, and you don't feel that way, then you drop out, you disengage. As opposed to the people who believe in you and believe you can get things done and you're capable, guess what? You feel good about coming into work. You are engaged in what we do. That's leadership. That is what leadership is all about, engaging. You have to be engaged in order to be not only a good leader, but to be who you are. See, what happens is this. You are in charge of your life. You're in charge. When we were growing up, when I was growing up, I had 3 channels to watch. I had ABC, NBC, and CBS. That was it. You know, I go to what, 1,099 to get HBO on demand today, okay? I have thousands of TV stations to watch. What that means to me is that I'm in charge. I have to decide what I want to watch and where I want to watch it. I'm in charge. I decide on where I'm going to travel, how I'm going to get there. I do everything on my own. I'm in charge of my life. You're in charge of your life. See, when I only had 3 channels, when nothing was on TV, it was their fault. Now all those channels on, it's my fault that we don't move forward. So moving forward is important. Being a leader versus a manager, it's really, really important. Now, when we talk about being a remarkable leader, we talk about being a remarkable individual, we talk about being remarkable, these are the 5 things: character, connection, collaboration, engagement, and celebration. These are the 5 important things that you have to be concerned about in order to move in the next direction, to move into what's important. You see, remarkable leaders about this. Historically, we looked at individuals, we hired them, and said they are working for money. Okay? So we had the stick and carrot approach, so that if you did your job well, you got paid. If you didn't do your job well, you were fired. Sticks and carrots. That doesn't work anymore. Now it's intrinsic. Why do you come to work every day? What motivates you? It's because you want to do better. You want to be a better person. You want to help people. And now that's the focus versus the sticks and carrot approach. The sticks and carrots no longer work in society. They don't work because you no longer work in the factories anymore. We have to produce 10 pieces of tires or cars or whatever. And even in corporate world, you no longer have to produce and move 10 pieces of paper from the inside of the desk to the other side of the desk. What we're doing today is thinking. All our jobs are creative. All our jobs are imaginative. You know, the days are gone when you just can sit in your desk all day and not do anything. You have to be creative, you have to be imaginative, and you have to have energy, enthusiasm, excitement. That is the main thing you have to have when we talk about. So the first thing we talk about, character. We know this guy, right? We're not too crazy about him, are we? We don't think he's that great of a guy, okay? Because when you talk about character, you talk about honesty, integrity. You talk about the things that make you a person that's positive. Now, what we're really talking about is self-awareness, who you are as an individual, what makes you you, who you are emotionally, who you care about, what do you care about, what is your passion? Because at the end of the day, your character is really your passion, what matters most to you, period. When you look at this guy right here, we don't like him. We go, oh my God, not him. We hate him. But if you wanted a guy to protect you in any circumstances, he's the guy you would hire, wouldn't he? He's the guy you would want because he is the guy that is passionate about what he does. Now, he was overly passionate because he ended up having Santiago killed for the Code Red. But overall, this guy has passion about what he does. In today's society, you're looking for passion. Look at somebody who really cares about their job. He's a problem solver. He had a problem. He had one person in his platoon that felt that he wasn't doing the job he had to do. Now, he had him killed, okay? So he went overboard, okay? But we understand he has a passion. Passion is the key. There's nothing more important than your passion. Because once you have a passion for something, you probably will do it honestly. You probably will do it with some integrity. You probably do it the right way. You do it better than you've ever done before. Character matters. Number two, connected and significant. You have to be connected. You have to be significant. There is nothing more important in our lives. This is one of the great movies of all time called Casablanca. This guy here, he was connected and significant to the point where he gave up the one thing he really cared about was her because something was bigger than he was. That connection was important. The problem we have today is when we feel disconnected as a team. We feel disconnected as a group. And we feel disconnected is one reason why we feel disconnected. We disconnect ourselves. We become disengaged. We do it for one reason. And it's because we protect ourselves. We don't want to be hurt. If you think about your relationship you've ever been in, you think about the jobs you've had, you think about all the things that made you detach yourself or disconnect, it's because you want to protect yourself. And you protect yourself from humiliation, embarrassment, shame, and guilt. The worst of all of them is shame. Shame is the number one problem that we have as humans. We are ashamed. Shame means is that it's not that you did something that was wrong, but you are wrong. It's not that you did something bad, but you yourself are bad. You yourself are unworthy. And we carry it. As men, the main thing that we are concerned about is not being a strong person, being weak. As women, we're scared of everything. I mean, it is long. You know, the stuff that women have shame is something they carry because as a woman, your job is to be perfect. Society says you're perfect. You got to cook, you got to clean, you got to raise your kids, you have a career, you have all those other things. You have to do it all. And if you don't do it, you carry the shame. You carry that on you all the time. That's why when you're connected, when you feel good because you're part of something. When you're significant, you matter. You have value. And that's what life's all about. You want to have value. But you can't have value unless you feel that you belong there and you feel like you belong. And what stops us from being belonging is guilt, embarrassment, shame. You know, those are the things that really stops us from moving forward in life. You know, especially the shame. There's nothing more critical than shame that tears us apart all the time. The way you get away, the way you be connected, you have to care. You have to care enough that you don't blame, you don't judge. We blame, we judge. And as a result of that, we lose our connectivity. When we feel disconnected, we feel like we no longer belong anymore. What we do is we point our fingers and say, it's your fault. You've done it. Instead of having understanding, compassion, and empathy. That connection is important because of empathy, compassion, and understanding. If you have that connection, that significance, will always be there. Nothing more important than that. Collaboration. We like this guy. This is one of my favorite guys. I love this TV show. But those days are gone. Back then in the 60s, we all were the same. We're unemotional. We solved our problems based on logic, based on reason, based on conformity. That everybody was the same. We all did the same thing. That's no longer reality. We don't do that anymore. Our collaboration is based on who we are as individuals. We have to accept each other as individuals. We have to make sure that what we do with each other is really, really important. Collaboration is the key of life. You know, if you look at Wikipedia, Wikipedia is one of the most greatest collaborations out there. It's a nonprofit. People got together and said that we're going to build this thing, we're going to collaborate, and we're going to accept each other as who we are. It is important. What stops us from collaborating is this. We don't treat people as people. We treat them as objects. We objectify individuals. What that means is this. When we use the words he, she, they, personal pronouns, what we do, we take the personality out of the person and we say, we objectify you. We don't, I have kids, okay, I have a wife. Whenever I use my wife's name, I never objectify her. When I say she, when I say the word she, it heightens my negative emotions. I start lacking understanding, and then I become unreasonable and lack trust. If you think about any time you ever got in a fight with somebody you cared about, a parent, a child, and you use they or she as opposed to that person's name, you will objectify that person to the point where you will become unreasonable. You won't trust that person, and you won't know why you didn't trust that person at all, because you objectify that person. You made that personality a tool, not an individual. You have to keep people as individuals. And you do it by using their name. It's hard to be mad at somebody and walk up to them and say, good morning, Danny. Good morning, Tom. When you say that, you can't. You can always get mad at them. I can always get mad at those guys over there, those guys in the home office. I can never get mad at Eric. I can never get mad at Jeff. It's hard. Use people's name when you collaborate. When you're working together, that is a critical piece. You have to do it. It's important. Engagement. Engagement is the most difficult thing out there. Engagement is what everything is about. The reason why it's hard to stay engaged is because it's hard to sustain engagement. You know, you buy something brand new, and all of a sudden, we get used to it. No matter how happy we are to have that one special thing, we get used to it. We get used to it. You buy a brand new car, all of a sudden, a little bit of time, you get used to it. It's no longer brand new. It is everything you get. So it's hard to stay engaged. It's hard to be engaged. What we do, what you have to do, is stop living on autopilot. We live our lives on autopilot. We wake up every single day, and we do the same thing over and over again. We get dressed, we eat breakfast, we come to work, you go home, you watch TV, you're on autopilot, your life's on autopilot, and you're missing life. Today, when you have lunch, take your time, eat your lunch. Understand what you had for lunch. Take your time and realize that right now, today, is the most important time of your life, because it is the only time of your life. Today, right now, is the only time that matters. Nothing else matters. You know, we spend most of our time dealing with the past. That's depression. We deal with the future with anxiety. So we're either one or the other. Our brains do one thing, and it does one thing really well, and that is solve problems. When you're sitting there and you're trying to, if you have a project to do, and you did the project and you're happy you did the project, guess what happens? Your brain starts to go to the next project. If it has no project to work on, guess what it does? It goes into the past. Maybe I should have done this. Maybe I should have dated that guy. Maybe I should have got rid of that guy. Maybe I should have treated my parents better. And your brain goes in that direction. But so that way you go into the future. Oh, my God, what am I going to do next week and then next month? I have a trip coming up. Am I going to enjoy it? None of this stuff matters. The only thing that matters is right now, today. What's happening to you right now when you go back to your desk? That matters. If you understand that that was the most important thing is what happens right now, you will stay engaged. Because engagement is not about, you know, being up all the time. It's about appreciating what you have at this point in time. appreciating what life has to give you at this very moment. Most people don't. We don't do it. We miss the opportunity. We miss today. We're too busy to worry about all the stuff that we're going on. Guess what? It's not important. 90% of the stuff that you worry about is not important. You control your brain and your thoughts. What happens is that you create a one little thought in your head, and we attach an emotion to it, and we create our own story that has no basis of reality at all. You can sit back and think right now about anything, and once you attach that emotion to it, you're lost. You create this whole scenario that just keeps going and going and going, and you worry about it, and you worry about it, and it never happens. Because most things don't. Most things are created in your brain. And you create it, and you attach it, and you worry about it, and you're concerned about it, and it has no basis in fact or truth. 90% of probably stuff that you think about doesn't matter. Use your brain and it says, I'm not going to think about that. We all have pain in our lives. They're all situations that will be painful to us. But you have a choice when it comes to suffering. You don't have to suffer. I'm on my phone with my daughter. She gets upset because her boyfriend did something. I said, okay, well, why don't you suffer for one more hour and then call me back when you're done suffering? And she laughs because the reality is that you choose to do that. You choose. No, when something painful happens, you're in pain, it's going to be painful. But after the pain is gone, you're going to choose to suffer as long as you want to suffer. You can suffer for days, you can suffer for weeks, you can suffer for years. But it's a choice you're making. You don't have to do it. You can stop right now and tell everybody right now you no longer have to suffer ever again. But when somebody calls you up and says they're suffering, upset, give them an hour. Okay, one more hour, and you're probably done suffering by then, right? No, you need 2 hours to suffer. Keep suffering. You don't have to suffer, but we do, and we continue to suffer. It stops us from being engaged. Engagement is something that's really important in life. In order for you to be successful in life today, okay, you have to have energy, you have to have excitement, you have to have enthusiasm. You can't do anything else. Everything else is potentially can be outsourced or technology can take the part. To have that job, to have a career, to have something important, you have to look at it and say, I want to solve a problem. Everybody in this room are individuals, and everybody can look at it a certain way. When I take a management class, they have this one situation where it says 2 plus 2 is 4. We all know that. We also know that 1 plus 3 equals 4. There's 2 ways of looking at things. But what happens is that we get locked into that one idea. We want to be right about our idea, and that means somebody else has to be wrong. We talk about win-win situations. That means we work together to come up with a solution. Most of the times we do either a win-lose situation or a lose-win situation. If you are a victim, if you feel that the world is not treating you fairly, if you feel like you're being not treated the way you want to be treated, and you're looking at everybody else and they're being treated well, then you're a victim and you're in a lose-win scenario. You're losing and everybody else seems to be winning. If you are right, if you're doing things the right way, and you're looking at that you're the only one doing everything the right way, and everybody else is doing things wrong, or you're working hard and else, then you're in that win-lose. But you want to have a win-win. And you do that by being energetic. You do it by working together, by saying, I want to be engaged. I want to be part of everything. And when you're part of it, you win. And guess what? The other person wins too. When you both win, you move up. If you are in situations where we all know the perfectionists out there, those perfectionist people, where they know everything is right on the money, they have to do everything the right way, they're the ones that lose. If you look at politics right now, politics is divided between the right and the left, and they all are extreme on both ends. You're in the middle, and you're looking at them, and they're both extreme because they both believe that they're right. But they have to believe they're right, and the other one's wrong. Where they believe 2 plus 2 equals 4, they don't even care what 1 plus 3 equals 4. So their perspectives, their different ways of looking at it. And what makes you, you, is that you can look at things differently than anybody else. You have that ability to say, I have a unique perspective on things, and that unique perspective allows you to move forward in life. The key thing, though, is whoever you work with, whoever you engage with, can't judge or blame. Because when they judge or blame, you disconnect, you become disengaged. 2/3 of the workforce out there is either disengaged or actively disengaged. Only 1/3 really cares about what they're doing. What I want to do And what I want people to do is become more engaged. And the way you do that is by understanding, being empathetic, and be a little more compassionate than you have been in the past. Celebration. That is the key. Celebrating life. Celebrating the small things that you do every day. I set a goal every morning. I want to work out. I have a little treadmill. I try to run a couple of miles a day. Whenever I do it, I come to work and I feel pretty good. If I don't do it, I say, I'm going to do it tomorrow. Celebrate. If you ever depress, if you ever get down, put a little trophy room in your brain, a place where you can go to and say, these are the things I have done well. Put a nice big trophy, the things you really have done well. Have all those small trophies. Go to your mind and go, what a great day I had when I did this. And that makes you feel up. Because celebration is what keeps you up, what keeps you excited, what keeps you motivated. Have that little room. Set little goals. Have a place to go where you can go where you feel good about life itself. If you do that, things will work. Now, finally, I'm going to give you a little formula, how you really can be engaged, how you really can enjoy life. That's by using something I call check-out. Number one, capability. You have to be capable. Yeah, I watched the NBA Finals. No matter how good LeBron James was, he's not capable of carrying a whole team and playing everybody by himself. He wasn't capable of doing it. He is the best player in the world. He tells us that all the time, right? But guess what? He wasn't capable of doing it all. We have to understand where our limitations are. You have to be self-aware enough to know what you can do, what you can't do. But if you're capable, whatever you're capable of doing, do it well and do it with passion. Number two, honesty. You have to be honest with yourself and honest with people around you. Because we know. You know inside, you can feel in your gut when somebody's talking to you, if they care or not. You know if they're faking it or not. No, there's no reason to fake it. You can be who you are and it works. If you try to be somebody else, you try to be how we used to live life with masks on every single day, it doesn't work. Life doesn't work that way. You have to be secure in who you are. You have to be honest. You have to be open. Being open is critical. Most people don't understand openness. They understand that this is the way, that 2 + 2 = 4. I'm right, you're wrong. You have to be open. You have to be able to say, is there another way of looking at it? You have to say, yeah, there might be another way of looking at it. That opens your mind, it broadens you. It allows you to look at things differently. You don't care if you're on the right or on the left. You want to be open to all possibilities. That's how you grow. And finally, and this is the toughest one, is willing. You have to be willing to do it. You can be capable, you can be honest, you can be all those things, but you don't have the desire. You don't want to put the effort into it because effort takes work. But if you put the work into it, you will always be engaged. This is the simple, easy way to do it. Know you're capable, be honest, be open, and be willing to take the step forward, and you will be successful. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Sherry.
Oh, thank you, Kevin, and thank you, everybody, for joining us today. If you'd like a copy of today's presentation, please send me an email to sbranson@kdins.com, and please join Kevin and I in July, on July 23rd. We'll be doing our next webinar, a D&O Q&A webinar, Part 1, and if you have any questions you'd like us to answer during that webinar, please send them to my email at sbranson@kdins.com. And thank you, everybody. Have a great afternoon and a safe 4th of July. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Take care. Bye, everybody.